If you haven't heard about the Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. The Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it's easy to be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Thank you very much.
Okay, here's one topic to discuss. The WWE Championship itself is a very important legacy. I understand that. It is the top number one prize. Actually, I won't even say prize. The top number one accomplishment you want to do in WWE in your entire career. I understand that, of course. Some of the greatest, not some, most of the greatest legends, wrestlers, superstars have held the championship from Boomer Sammartino, Buddy Rogers, Rock, Austin, Hogan, Hart, Michaels. It goes right down the list. Even Eddie Guerrero, which is my favorite WWE champion of all time. You know, some people may be able to agree or disagree, but it's true. But we can agree on this. As a wrestling fan, I did not like some of the WWE champions from the era of 2010 through 2020. Don't get me wrong. Right now, I would say, and most of the people may disagree with me on this, I did not like Lesnar's championship run from SummerSlam 2014 through WrestleMania 31. I thought there was no point in him holding the championship. He kept it hostage. And let me say this to you why. If you were to go back in that match between Lesnar and Cena from SummerSlam 2014, it was basically one-sided. It was just basically a Suplex City match from Lesnar delivering 16 German suplexes to Cena. That's all it was. Maybe, if you watch that entire match, you've only seen Cena hitting one AA and then attempting STF. Successfully, of course. But other than that, the match was one-sided. Some people would say, like, oh, that was a massacre. It was a beatdown. Lesnar destroyed Cena, which, yes, that happened. Of course, it did. But there was no reason for Cena to drop the championship to Lesnar that night, or Lesnar taking the championship from Cena. It was no point at all. The rematch that happened at Night of Champions in 2014, it was cool and all. That Dawn's interfering made people, I think, at that point, there should have been no rematch. I think Lesnar, if he had to choose one opponent for Lesnar to defend the championship against that night, it would be Seth Rollins. Now, there's no doubt about it. Seth Rollins, I think right now, is an amazing performer, is my favorite wrestler right now on the WWE roster. Out of anybody. I even like him better than Roman Reigns. But, let's say if this had happened, if Seth Rollins had cashed in Money in the Bank, which he had won in Boston at Money in the Bank 2014, which I think it was right for him to win. But, if he had cashed in on Lesnar that night and became the new champion, that would have made more sense than to him to cash in the Lesnar Reigns main event match from WrestleMania 31 in San Jose, California. I really thought that would be a lot better than WrestleMania 31. Get this why. Because you've had Lesnar had that one title defense and then have another one at the Royal Rumble 2015. Again, that triple match between Lesnar, Cena, and Rollins at 2015 was a great match. Probably one of the best triple threat matches of all time. If you compare it to, let's say, the triple threat 30 championship match from Vengeance Until between Rock, Angle, and Taker. Which I could watch that match over and over again and be like, wow, that was definitely the marquee mark of triple threat matches in WWE's history in any era. That would go down as the number one. I would put that up there, maybe it's number 3. That's how good that match was. But, again, let's go back to the Lesnar championship run of 2014 through 2015. It was mediocre. I think it shouldn't have happened. Maybe some people are going to say, like, oh, okay, but Lesnar's first championship win, the WWE Championship win since 2004. I get that. I understand that. I think, personally, it shouldn't have happened. For one, I think that it was a cool call for Roman Reigns to win the 2015 Royal Rumble. Even though he kind of should have won the 2014, but freaking Batista, of all people, had to win it. I really didn't agree with that as well, but that's in the past. We got over it. Lesnar won 2015 Royal Rumble, going on to WrestleMania, and this is how much I think that this run with Reigns in 2015 was cool. He was the Royal Rumble. He defeats one of the best in-ring performers, Daniel Bryan, at Fastlane 2015, and moves on to face Lesnar at WrestleMania 31. I really think Reigns should have won championship that night and propelled his career as that's his first championship win at WrestleMania 31. That should have been the Roman Reigns moment right there. Not waiting until Survivor Series for him to win a championship in a probably one of the most worst tournaments ever. I really didn't agree with that tournament. No. So, yeah, even though Rollins had a great championship in 2015, him getting injured, it was unfortunate at a live event against Kane. With that tried to attempt turnbuckle powerbomb, whatever you want to call it. But again, this was a mediocre title run. I agree it should never happen. For one, even though Reigns won championship, Rollins won championship, cashing Money in the Bank in the main WrestleMania 31, which was never unheard of until that moment. I'm glad Lesnar lost the belt. Really, it was the one of the most worst reigns out of any superstar ever. It was worse than him being champion for freaking, let's say, that time he won from Angle in the Iron match on September 18th episode, Town 3 of SmackDown, until he lost to Eddie Guerrero. Again, another great championship match. Eddie Guerrero won that match. I was so damn happy. Being 10 years old and watching that matchup on pay-per-view, I know what y'all telling for. It will go on to one of the greatest moments of today's history. But that night, I was so ecstatic. And then him trying to request a rematch next time on Raw, thank God he didn't get that championship back. Not to dishonor Lesnar's accomplishments, but it was just that the title run was so mediocre. It didn't make sense. I didn't like it. If fans are gonna come back to me for this and do so, but that was the most mediocre title run ever. He undefended the championship twice. One of them was by DQ. One successfully retained, but it was so mediocre. I just want to even forget that championship run was even had. So, moving on, Lesnar tried to get championship back at Battleground. Undertaker interfered. This is what got to me. This is what really got to me here. This is one thing I thought, and let it be known, The Undertaker is my favorite superstar. He will always be my favorite superstar. For The Undertaker to use a low blow, I thought it was pretty weird. But then I was like, that is badass. Undertaker doing a low blow. That's never something you'll see Taker do. When I saw that on pay-per-view, or not pay-per-view, WWE Network, I saw that and I was like, holy shit. Wow, that's something different. And then there's 2 hour rematch at SummerSlam for when Lesnar ended the Taker streak. Actually, hold on. Let me pause it right here. Let me take this time to emotionally describe myself that night, WrestleMania 34, Lesnar being Taker in the streak. I was almost like that guy that you saw sitting in the front row with the glasses, with the white t-shirt, and big bulgy eyes, and shock, and awe and shock on how everybody I felt when The Undertaker was pinned at WrestleMania. I cannot stress this enough. I did cry. I did get teary. It's one of those moments that people are not gonna forget. But then I can't help but watch the match over and over and over again and still have that same feeling as when the Undertaker shoulders were pinned at WrestleMania 34. WrestleMania 30. Excuse me, WrestleMania 30. And to me, that moment was sad. But yeah, back to 2015, Undertaker beating Lesnar. Even though it was controversial, Undertaker did tap out. Referee didn't see it. And then Lesnar passing out to the Undertaker's Hell's Gate submission hold. I was happy about that. I was happy. Undertaker got his revenge. They went to do it again at Hell in a Cell, and that was the last time they faced because Brock Lesnar beat Undertaker. But they had 5 on the wooden pallet, which is a part of the ring itself, which Lesnar teared the ring up on the floor. So yeah. But going back to Brock Lesnar championship run, it was a disgrace to WWE itself. It was a disgrace to all the fans out there that expected more out of that. Let's see, how many months was that championship? Was it a 7, 8 month championship reign? And twice he defended it. Is bad. So yeah, that was one of the worst. This past decade, that was one of the worst championship runs ever. It was probably go down history, and well, for me as a fan, worst championship run ever, and hopefully WWE does not do that again. You know, I would say his Universal Championship run, going for you to go over WrestleMania 33 all the way until he lost to Seth Rollins at last year's WrestleMania 35. Again, praise Seth Rollins all the world. Seth Rollins has literally won every single championship on the roster, all male championships, and without a doubt, Seth Rollins is going to continue to carry this company into the future. So I will praise Seth Rollins all I want, because Seth Rollins, to me, is what defines WWE. The hard-working, consistent work and scheduling, in-ring master of the game. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the worst championship reign of the 2010 through 2020 era in WWE. If you'd like to know more about it or discuss any topics, follow me at Phenomenal1Y2J on the Instagram page, and my Twitter at Phenomenal1J on Twitter or Facebook. Catch me every Wednesday on Spotify and Anchor on Gotta Have Heart Wrestling. See you then.